Hello, everybody. It's Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, January 3rd. And it didn't take long for the new year to something for the crazy stuff to start. If this is an indication of what the year's going to be like, whatever happened, the Trump kidnapped the president of Venezuela and brought him to the U.S. So quite the development for the new year. Where it goes from here, who knows? It's kind of weird. They kidnapped him, and like what's the military doing? What are the police doing? Like, did they just sit around and let this guy get snatched? It's like nobody. You don't hear of anybody dead. No casualties. Just they plucked him out, and now he's in the States. Like something weird's going on there, and it's pretty crazy stuff. And they're saying it's about democracy, and he's a dictator. Like he very well probably is, might be, who knows? But obviously they're going in there for the oil, like they've said that so many times. So lots of repercussions, lots of crazy stuff will, lots of consequences from this. It should be interesting to see how it all plays out. Like, what's going to happen now that they got the president? Obviously, they want us to have somebody in there who's friendly, who's going to listen, be obedient. So that's the big story today. Let's see. Lots of different angles on this story today. Let's go. Oh, shit. Something's going on here. All right. Yeah, this is funny. Picture's worth 1,000 words. That's Doug Ford and Olivia Chow. This is what I'm more worried about. I'm more worried about this than Venezuela. Like, I think it's a great distraction. This thing that's going on in Venezuela. It's just that's all you see on the news now. So all the stuff we were bitching about, it's it's all put to the back burner conveniently. Like the destruction of Canada. I think our politicians are more worried about. They seem more worried about freeing the Venezuelan people than fixing what's wrong with Canada. That's our leadership there. Maybe Doug Ford should have kidnapped these two. I mean, Donald Trump should have kidnapped these two. Done us a favor. Okay, next post here. This is funny. Some inexperienced truck driver driving around with his load lift down. Of course, it's a Tim Hortons truck. How ironic. Who knows where that was? Somewhere in Ontario, maybe. Okay. Next. Lots of stuff, lots of opinions on Venezuela today. So it is what it is. I care about what happens in Canada. I really don't want, each country. Who knows what's going on in other countries? I just don't want millions of refugees coming here from South America because of the stuff like this. Not one single Venezuelan refugee should be allowed into the West from this conflict. And all the Venezuelan refugees currently living in North America and Europe can go back. Well, yeah, they got Maduro. They should go back. I'm sure we'll just get more refugees, especially if they go after like Cuba. And I think he said Colombia. No, not Colombia. I don't know. Maybe he said Colombia. Like if they do this in other countries, there was a lot of intervention by the U.S. in South America during the Cold War and even before the Cold War, and they did it for U.S. corporations who owned a lot of property down South America, and it always just they later it was to supposedly fight communism in the Western Hemisphere, but a lot of people died from death squads and government death squads, CIA trained death squads. So hopefully we don't go back to those days. But yeah, it's peaceful now. They got Maduro. It should be all good for them to go. Next, conservative politicians in Canada become so courageous and bold when it's time to support regime change, kidnapping foreign leaders and bombing foreign countries. Strongly opposing mass immigration in Canada, that's destroying the country. Suddenly they have zero courage. Yeah, like I seen the tweets all day from Pierre Poilievre and all the conservatives, and they're more worried about the Venezuelan people than they are about Canadian people during COVID. None of the conservatives said jack about COVID mandates and people losing their livelihoods and being injected with a drug against their will. Then when the mass immigration happened at the same time, they welcomed it. They welcomed both the COVID measures and the mass immigrations, but they're ecstatic that the Venezuelans are free. It's just, that's our politicians, like our conservative politicians, instead of fighting for Canada, they're more worried about regime change in Venezuela and Iran. All right. Next. This is Greg Wycliffe again. Dallas, he's talking about Dallas Brody from 1BC. She's a Zionist, of course, probably. She doesn't like talking about mass immigration, but she'll talk about the regime change in Venezuela. And you know, she said, "Oh, I can't talk about mass immigration because it's a federal matter." Well, I think regime change is a federal matter too, but you're talking about it because the Zionists are happy. They like Maduro was very anti-Israel, so of course all the Zionist puppets in Canada will be like ecstatic because they're told to be ecstatic that they got Maduro. And another angle to this Venezuela thing is we spent the last 3.5 years saying how bad Russia was for doing basically the exact same thing. And in fact, Ukraine's like right next to them, so it's like right on the border. But they both took out or attempted, in Russia's case, they took parts of the territory, but in U.S. case, they did a regime change. But it's still the same idea. Like you attacked a country, and you justified it, saying, you know, this is our sphere of influence. So we spent the last 3.5 years punishing Russia, and doing the same thing that he's doing now. So you'll see how that'll be interesting as they try to negotiate with Russia over Ukraine. It kind of takes away their credibility a bit, quite a bit. Have you noticed complete silence from these two puppets on the unprovoked U.S. invasion of Venezuela? It's a hypocrisy. You know, it's like the U.S. can do it, but no other country can. I get it. It's power politics, but it's just the hypocrisy. All right. This is funny. This has been a funny thing all day about how Trump should kidnap some Canadian leaders. He should, if he wants to, if he's talking about saving people from dictators, but obviously we're just joking, but not really. Like Doug Ford, I wouldn't mind if he kidnapped Doug Ford. And Carney, traitor. They're traitors. All Abbey, traitors. That'd be funny. And if the U.S. is going to be more militaristic in, you know, enforcing its clout in the Western Hemisphere, why wouldn't they take out a Canadian leader? Or why wouldn't they step in if they think there's political instability or secessionist movements or foreign interference, you know? Why wouldn't they do the same thing they did in Venezuela that they're doing? Why wouldn't they do that in Canada? For sure they would. Maybe we're on notice. Canada, you're on notice. You'll get Maduro'd. Crazy how we can kidnap Maduro and his wife to stand trial in the U.S., but Trump and company can't get a single meaningful arrest for COVID, voter fraud, Russia hoax, Epstein, Benghazi, J6, Biden corruption, Clinton corruption, Obama corruption, or literally anything. Yeah, it almost seems like a big distraction. And it is. Like, that's all you see in the news. It's like Trump is like, I haven't done anything. The first year as president, I basically abandoned my base. What should I do? I'll invade Venezuela. It works. It works. All right. And also, Netanyahu just visited Trump. So obviously that gives people suspicions. It says, America is the puppet of Israel. War criminal Netanyahu claimed on New Year's Eve that Iran could send weapons to Venezuela as they're in cahoots. Within 3 days, the U.S. military has launched its campaign against Venezuela. The world will be a safer place without Bibi. Yeah, timing is really suspicious. Like, he just shows up and 2 days later they're executing the operation. That's a good point. Anyways, this is another good point. After Russia attacked Ukraine, Russia has been expelled from the Olympic Games, and which is bullshit. Like the hockey, I won't take the hockey seriously in the Olympics without Russia playing. It's bullshit. After Russia attacked Ukraine, Russia has been expelled from the Olympic Games. After an illegal war of aggression against Venezuela, will the United States also be banned from the Olympic Games? Same rules for everyone, right? So yeah, I don't think the U.S. should be banned from the Olympic Games, but neither should Russia either. It should be equal treatment. All right. Next. I'd love to wake up in the morning knowing the U.S. just captured and arrested Mark Carney in the middle of the night. He's as big a criminal as Maduro. Yes, he is. A lot of people saying that today. But Doug Ford, they got to include Doug Ford if they're going to do kidnappings and arrests of Canadians. I'm not advocating it either. I'm just saying. I'm not sure how else to put it other than to be really blunt. I agree with this. If you believe what's going on in Venezuela is about freeing the Venezuelan people from a tyrannical regime, you're either historically illiterate moron or you're a nefarious mouthpiece for the deep state. Totally. Yeah, there's actually people with Twitter accounts that actually have they're conservatives and they have lots of followers. And they're actually trying to tell their followers, like, this is so great for democracy. And it's like they're being very disingenuous with their followers, but that's what they do, I guess. But it's all about power politics. Probably going to counter China influence in Venezuela, all that. Yeah, I get it. It's power politics. But let's not pretend it's for oil companies too, who are going to get their business back up and running down there. So that's fine, but let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Like, if the Canadian leader had a bad relationship with the U.S. to the point, they would do the same thing. It's just exactly what happened in Ukraine. I said that with Ukraine. You have to get along with your neighbors, especially your big, powerful neighbors. All right. Okay. Some of the things I view Venezuelan situation through the prism of its effect on Canada. So hopefully, I said it before, there could be hope. If there could be a civil war, like, we don't know. I don't know. Has the U.S. taken control of Venezuela? Like, they got their leader, but it doesn't say anything. The news doesn't say anything about what happened with the other members of Maduro's government. Like, what's going on? Hasn't said nothing. All it says is we got Maduro. So if they have a civil war, we're looking at a lot of refugees that would love to come to Canada, or would love to come to get the hell out of there, but and then that could spread to other countries. So we could get like a lot of refugees from that situation, similar to the Middle East where we get a lot of refugees. Alberta separatists might say, "Oh, this is a strong oil policy by the U.S." They might say we need to separate so we can do an agreement with the states on our oil, and like it could be used as a kind of a talking point for the Alberta-U.S. relationship vis-a-vis the separatist question, and sets more precedent for U.S. intervention in Canada. So we got secessionist movements, we got foreign interference, we got mass migration. So there's tons of reasons they would do an intervention like they did. So yeah, it's a crazy start to the new year. Crazy start. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I don't care. Like, I care more about Canada, but there are gonna be. Hopefully it works out. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully it works out. You never know. Regime changes tend to. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're not good. Hypocrites, absolutely the worst. That's what we're seeing a lot. It's a lot of hypocrisy. He said it good. Tom Marazzo said it good. He doesn't have an issue. I don't have an issue with U.S. capturing the leader of Venezuela. The big players in NATO do regime change all the time. What I absolutely can't stand is the hypocrisy. The U.S. has invaded or attacked 250 countries since World War II, but then have the gall to accuse Russia of election interference, illegal invasion of Ukraine, etc. NATO invaded Afghanistan and the UK invaded Iraq, but Russia is bad. It's spreading democracy when we do it, but it's crimes against humanity when it's someone else. I don't have any issues with what they did in Venezuela, but stop the BS about democracy versus invasion versus resources. Just stop with the bullshit hypocrisy and stop lying to people who have to work for free 5 months of the year to pay for your lying. Yeah, that's kind of, he's expressed what I feel like. Like, the hypocrisy is what bugs me more than the actual what they did. Like, we basically spent the last 4 years telling Russia how bad they were for doing this, and then he's basically just did it. So it's funny how we just ignore the reality, or the peasants do at least. So, yeah, it was a good post. Okay, next. Trump, he was looking kind of crazy today, like dementia, like Joe Biden when he's talking about Venezuela. I got video of that. That's what I'm going to end with. But something's going on with Trump. He's not like himself. He's like just being fed stuff. He is old. I mean, he's 80 years old. But he said it didn't sound good in this clip. He says Trump says the United States is going to be very strongly involved in Venezuela's oil industry in the wake of the regime change operation to capture Maduro. So yeah, before the U.S. companies had huge, like they basically controlled the oil industry in Venezuela before Chavez. So I'm sure they're just itching to get back. They got a lot of oil in Venezuela. A lot of oil. And I guess China was buying it and they weren't using U.S. dollars to buy it. Who knows? Don't care. And then here's another Michelle Rempel Garner. She's basically tweeting all day about this Venezuela thing. And like I said, none of them said anything during COVID. None of these Canadian politicians. But they're so ecstatic about this regime change. They didn't say anything about all the things that destroyed Canada. There's all those Zionists coming out against Venezuela, which is, makes me suspicious. Tommy Robinson. He's saying it's the drugs. 73,000 Americans are dead because of Venezuela's drug imports. Trump warned them time and time again to deal with it. Taking out Maduro's America first. Yeah, it's not the drugs. It's the oil. If you're going to go after a country for drugs, it would be Mexico. They've been like the narcos since the 80s at least. And the politicians for sure. It's so corrupt. So it's for the oil. Like I would respect them more if they just said, yeah, we didn't get along with the guy. We can't have the oil reserves in his control. Boom. Okay. Something's going on with my feed. It's all mixed up for some reason. Anyway, so I want to see this Trump. This video, he doesn't look good in this video. This video.
Transit.
He's talking about Venezuela, his conquest of Venezuela.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same.
Like, how did they just take it over? Like, they took the president out, and like they're running it now. Like, that's so weird. I have no idea. I've never seen anything like this. Even when they went and got Noriega, they had the whole army invade Panama, and they went and got Noriega, I think in 1990, and they invaded the whole island, and it took them a few days, and a few people got killed to get them to come out. But apparently and Panama's a lot smaller, but they got them out of Venezuela, and now they're running Venezuela. Like, it's so weird.
Situation that we had for the last long period of years. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force.
It doesn't sound good at all.
Forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen.
Wow.
It's a blockade. He's not going to let anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't sound good there. But yeah, that's Trump. So we'll see where it goes from there. So good start to the new year. Explosive start to the new year. We'll see where it goes. So the next broadcast will be January 4th. Who knows what will happen? I said last night. We'll see what happens. And then I woke up and the news of Maduro being snatched, kidnapped, was on X. So who knows what will happen tomorrow. So until then, have a nice night.